Hello, good morning, good morning. Daddy Chris is here again. It's Wake Up Nigeria from your SRTV desk in London. Yes, this is how we do it. This is how we do it here. Today is a great day. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of April, 2024. Amazing. And the quiz is going old every second. The days is just running too fast. Anyway, I have a lot of young people. They're not worried about their age. So they are right here, right there. They should be anchoring this show. I didn't get data on time, but I'll let data anchor the show from here. So let's hear from data. Data. Princess, your chroma, your chroma always have its way of doing things before we get settled. How are you? Princess, can you hear us? Okay.
I'm fine. Good morning, sir.
Uh-huh. Your network takes time to kick in, so we are used to data
Good
now. So we
morning,
allow
sir.
you money. Let's allow data to kick in. We'll come right back to Princess.
That's
All right.
because I'm connected to my phone.
All right. I see that. I see it. So anyway, we have Abuja there. These two women. What a style. How are you guys doing?
Fine, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Are you guys angry? Somebody is angry this morning. Abuja is not smiling like Wike. Wike is always smiling. The woman on the blessing is not smiling. There's God. What's going on?
Nothing, sir. Everything is fine. We are
All
fine,
right.
sir.
All right, I can see that you are fine. I hope everything is really fine. Listen, I run away from women who are not putting up good faces. When they put up smiley face, or when I ask them difficult questions, they will talk. Anyway, hey, look at these two beautiful kids from Edo. Edo kids, how you doing? You guys are
Yeah, fine. Good morning.
the heartbeat of the nation. You guys are
Yes,
you're looking like the heartbeat of the nation. Anyway, how is Edo? I,
very fine
listen,
this morning, sir.
I just want to ask one simple question. And now that people from Edo State, they know how to imprison their deputy governor. Is that true?
Ah,
That's not true, sir.
That's not true. Because your deputy governor is on his way to prison. Why? He's a comrade. Why is he on his way to prison? There is God, oh. Yeah, Edo, there is God, oh. Anyway, let's quickly okay, this is who we are. This is SROTV London, Delta, Edo, and Abuja. And this is how we do it. The show is Wake Up Nigeria. And like I said before, today is World Autism Day. And it's very important that we know this. What is autism? What do you people know about autism? I don't know much. But you see people that have it around you. What do you have to say? Have you shown them any kind of understanding? Because you just didn't understand them. But today is a day for us to raise awareness on people around us who are suffering from this. From what I gathered, it is not an illness, so there's no cure for it. There are two things I don't understand, but it's a deformity. So that's the
yes.
part I don't get. Can somebody tell us a little bit on that?
Okay. Well, for the first time I came across autism, the first time I saw it was in a movie, so I did a little research of it and I was able to know what it meant and all. So it's kind of a deformity that prevents one from communicating properly. When you want to do something, the message get transmitted to the brain first of all. So
Yeah.
like the brain is not in alignment, it is not working properly. Like the message you want to pass across to the brain, it's passing a different message, another one is getting to the brain. So that's
Yes.
what autism is all about. Like it's like a deformity that do not allow one to socialize properly, that do not allow one to pass the information one wants to pass properly, and it can cause repetition. You
Oh,
in
yes.
like in speech, like you can keep repeating a word instead of just getting it out and saying the next one.
Yes,
So
no.
that is what autism is.
Yeah, it can be pretty frustrating. Princess, I can see
Yes, it
your
can.
Yeah, I can see your princess. What do you know? Because the princess just told me, because when she raised the issue, princess is the one that always run the show from the back. She told me that she had some people around her that she has seen one. I'm not very familiar with people that suffer from autism, to be honest. Maybe on television, like she said now from the movie, and you can only see and don't understand. What was your understanding from the ones around you, princess?
Okay, autism, it's from the ones I've seen so far, is a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate, to interact. Most time, these people are always withdrawn. Before now, I was thinking it's something that I would do. I was quite confused. Like 2 days ago, I was asking a doctor because I know today is World Autism Day, and then I was asking a doctor that what is really this autism. The ones I see around, they are quite cold. They don't call. They apparently because they don't know how to communicate. They are withdrawn, and sometimes they behave like children. Adults, they could be 30, 40, but they still act as though they are kids, and they like to play around children. They are afraid. I don't know, for whatever reason it's so difficult to communicate. And sometimes as well, like she said, they keep repeating one thing instead of moving forward. And this one in my area though is a man of, like, he could be 50 already, but he's behaving like a boy. And I know that if he lives with the mom, but if he's sent on an errand, he can go. But if you ask him to use a public transport or a bike, he doesn't know the way back home. Now, this is somebody that was born and bred in the area, according to what my sister-in-law said. But the bike will start taking him everywhere in town. He will start pointing here and there at the same time. And so sometimes I think it's the brain disorder, and it doesn't have a cure. And so the another one here too, they say she's 20 something, but it took her time to work. She only started working like barely 3 years ago. Otherwise she was coping like a child and all that. And sometimes too, they have deformity in developing, when they get to that puberty age and all that. So these are some of, they have different symptoms and different issue. Otherwise, I was actually thinking that there's familiarity between autism and how do you Down syndrome. I used to think that they are the same, but like I said, Dr. Bodete, of course, will be joining us on the show today. And he told me that no, they are not the same. It's quite different. It's two different things. And use all those medical terms which I can't
Yes,
even
I can
understand.
imagine.
But yes, it's something that has to do, with the brain, a deformity, especially that affect their speech, the way they communicate and interact with the outside world. And sometimes too, their communication is not very clear. They speak as though they are children, meanwhile they are adults. So different symptoms for different people as well.
Wow. You can imagine a 50 years old behaving like a boy and not finding his way around. What kind of care can you? Definitely, if it's in the UK, they will have a carer. But do we have carers in Nigeria? Those are the things we don't have. The Nigerian society, our family becomes our carer, right? Begin to carry those bodies.
Yes,
The
our
government does not
families
see much.
become that
Exactly.
was what I actually asked about the guy yesterday, the man. I used to see him around my sister-in-law's house, and sometimes I buy him something because I notice he's always he likes coke and bread. So sometimes when I see him, I buy for him. So he's always happy, behaving like a child. So I actually thought it's actually somebody that has mental, issues, but
Yes,
they told
yes.
me that no, it's an autism, and that's how he behaves. And he lives with a mother. The mother is very old already, 90 something years. So I was even asking my sister-in-law last night that what if something happened to the mother? We don't pray. What becomes of the guy? And he said, oh, he will live there. He doesn't have a choice. That though he has brothers that are lecturers, big in Lagos and Benin, but he's the only one with the mom. And I remember then some years ago when we did the World Autism Day in Abuja, they actually have different groups because we went to cover it that day. And so you had different, NGOs as well taking care of them, where you can keep taking them to do. So they like interacting with them, their own people. I think they feel cool around their own people, and so we went there that day to cover it. Not they are not very much, but yes, I've seen like two or three NGOs in Abuja, especially for children or people with autism, sir.
My from what you're saying now, they're saying it's not an illness, so it's a development disorder, and
Yes,
meaning this, they are born disabled. Let's use the word. That's the right word. They're born undeveloped, meaning they need a
yes,
care. And this is where it comes to our
Yes.
society. This is where our society comes in. So if I have a child that have that kind of disorder, I'm on my own. The government have nothing to say. The NGOs, of course, is a voluntary thing. So how do people cope? Like you just mentioned, now, an old woman dealing with that kind of a person. Eh, how they,
Yeah,
you're talking, worried about the old woman, you should even be worried about him because he needs care. He
yes,
needs
he needs care, sir. As he stands, the man needs care. My sister-in-law was actually telling me yesterday that, in fact, the mother does not do any other thing. All she does is to care for this man.
exactly,
And so
exactly.
I was worried that what if something happened, eventually something happens to the mother, what will become of this man?
Yes.
And even though my sister-in-law actually moved into mom's house some days ago, that when they were moving in, the guy was crying, like a child, and he wants to come with them and all that. He wants to live with them. So
I
for you
can
to
imagine.
know that they
Yeah.
don't think like adults
No,
sometimes.
they know other the kids. The kids.
Yes, and on the papers today, you can see one of the our headline will talk about autism that says it has to do with is it chemical, whatever, home. So we will see to get to that headline. I was even discussing with the doctor early this morning, and he said yes, that is true. And some of the things we do, some of the things we eat, some of the things we also, in our environment, this insecticide we use, these things might get into the food, especially maybe when somebody is pregnant. And some of these days you have different spices for food. These are all chemicals. We are used to the normal seasoning, but now you have different types of cubes. You have different time. Sometimes people want to cook stew and they bring so much seasoning into one stew and all that. In those days, our parents just use a cube and salt, and that is it. And
There
the
was no cube
vegetables.
even in our time. The only Maggi cube came
Yes,
later. You guys are the
but now
Maggi
you
cube.
see people bringing in so much seasoning, so much packing, jam packing a lot of things in the name of steaming meats or cooking food. And so Dr. Podete was actually complaining this morning that these are some of the factors. So the things we eat as well, especially when you're pregnant. So a lot of things are the factors to, when we talk about autism. But maybe when the doctor comes, he's going to
Yeah.
explain better to us. But we
We'll deal
have
with that.
quite a number of them around.
All right. We will look at that deeply in details with the doctor if we are opportune to have him this morning. I mean, that's him be able to tell us the symptoms and what the. In fact, we all owe a duty to. You see, it's called duty of care. As a society, we owe each other duty of care, but more duty of care to the disabled. And that is one thing Nigeria need to preach. Unfortunately, I know government doesn't have a hand in this. It's not their headache. Oh, well, a society is a true reflection of how they treat their disabled. That is how that tells who we are. Not to go to church on Sunday, but how you actually treat the neighbor and your neighbor, the most vulnerable people in society. Anyway, we'll take a look at that when the doctor comes. Princess, all I wanted to ask before the doctor may talk to us about the details. I wanted to know whether there is any provision. You mentioned the NGO. Does even though our government have any provision for people like this? Like I said, in the UK, you are entitled to a carer. In Nigeria, there's nothing like carer. We understand. Thank God we have a family that cares. But what is the
So
role of
let's
government in this? Eh?
so let's be very sincere. I don't understand when you say government. The government cannot even care for themselves, let alone you, the citizens. It is a fact that in Nigeria, we saw on the news the other day, somebody on a wheelchair that has the money to buy food was being asked to go out, that wheelchairs are not allowed in that fast food. Sir,
In the
this is the
airport,
country we live in,
Nigerian
right?
airport.
This is Yes, at
Ah, sure.
KFCC in the international airport in Lagos. So now, this only made it to the news because this person in question is the son of the senator. So
Okay.
assuming this is just an ordinary Nigerian, the issue would have just been swept under the
Who
carpet,
won't
sir.
even know? Who will know? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So this shows you the kind of society we live in. When people see the disabled, when they see people that are deformed one way or the other, they tend to look down on them. We saw on the news the other day, a lady that was being mocked for getting married to the love of her life. Somebody that is, how do you call them now? I can't remember that
The
word.
hunchback.
So yes, so at the end of the day, government is so busy doing the relevant things. I have been to the UK where even the disabled, they have they can park anywhere they like because the government
Of
understand that these
course.
people are not like you that is able. And so you
Exactly.
can park your car anywhere as far your tag is there. You can actually just do anything, they give you that privilege. They make the world actually a better place for you to live in. But that is not the case here, sir. The NGOs have always covered when we talk about health, anything that has to do with NGOs, anything that has to do with maybe was celebrating any medical issue. It has it. I've always seen NGO when we even talk about sometimes the World Sickle Cell Day, the World HIV Day. Fine. The only thing government does is to bring plenty of condoms that day in Abuja. We share a lot when we do the campaign. We bring
That's
a
how you
lot of
did.
condoms, use
Uh,
condoms, protection.
you see?
But we have. I learned that one of the NGO members called me this morning that they actually lost one of their sickle cell member, and they are so saddened. From Abuja, she placed that call to me this morning, and that she has been very down. This is the person she spoke to. Just she even went to visit him, and now they lost the guy. And so these are some of the issues. If somebody tells you that, as okay, for instance, we know that HIV, they have their medications here for free, but sickle cell, are they supposed to be buying the medications, sir? These medications sometimes, sometimes these people, I've seen one when I came to Delta. It was so serious that each time is a guy too. I was just talking to the brother some days ago. Each time the crisis comes up, they have to transfuse blood, otherwise he won't survive. He has been like that since he was a child. And you can see that the government, these are some of the things the government is supposed to take seriously. We have different people, we have asthma, we have a lot of, are they supposed to be buying these medications? A lot of these people too are people that are not doing very well for themselves. And then the family, we have to keep living up, all they do is to start, saving for this a particular child or the other, for one medical condition or the other. So I think government, when we talk about the health, we all know that the health system here in Nigeria, sir, is nothing to write home about. And government too. You already know that answer, sir.
Well, for me, it's maybe because I stay too long here, and I always think in this way. But these are basic things that the government need to put in place. Look at the young girl now. Even the awareness is not there, because that is the number one thing. Not throwing condom, raising the awareness is number one. And I'm going to be challenging those of you in Abuja that today we're supposed to have an NGO that are working on this to talk to us, other than the medical doctor, because the NGO, they have the field experience, and we need to have them on the show from time to time. Please let us be updated with that. I just trained that to Abuja. It's not something we should be on air, but I have to do that. I probably forget. It's not a query, but please, when we have issues like this, let us get an NGO who can actually tell us the experience, the statistics, because we need to have these figures to be able to make a case. And we shouldn't be talking about it alone. If there's anything I can do here, I will always link them with NGOs here who are out to make changes. They do. So many cares. So many people care. And like I said, we don't know what is a carer in Nigeria. And so the government doesn't know anything about it. They don't care. So we are on our own. But there's something called duty of care from the government. That's a topic for another day. Anyway, let us take a look at what the newspaper are saying this morning, because it looks as if our dailies are flooded with good news. Is it good news? It's not Nigerian news, but it's always sometimes we have good news. But before I say this, I forgot to put up the image. I'm so impressed with what Airpeace have done. I'll be sharing some of their images with you guys within the show. They are currently flying from Lagos to London, Gatwick. And guess what? The Airpeace is a Nigerian aircraft, right? It's Nigerian airline. Now, Gatwick Airport is owned by a Nigerian. Now, when you come to the United Kingdom, the second biggest airport is Gatwick. Just where you have Abuja and Lagos Airport. You know how big they are. That is the similarity here. Gatwick is a little bit smaller, but it's the second biggest airport in the United Kingdom. Who owns it? A Nigerian. This is the same country where we cannot take care of the disabled. It doesn't add up, meaning something is failing us. Yesterday, I asked the barrister that the problem, well, this man said it. Chino Achebe said the problem of Africa is that of leadership, Nigeria in particular. And that's where we are. look at what the ordinary Nigerians can do. A single man called Dangote, the government could not produce us a refinery. A single man, Dangote, has given us a refinery. Now, Nigeria could not have an airline. The cheapest thing. When you have an airline, it projects the image of the country. When you see Kenya Airline, Ethiopian Airline, how about Nigerian Airways, British Airways, American Airline? Where is Nigeria? It's only Nigeria that doesn't know what it means to project your image with the air, with the Nigerian even shipping line. We lack that understanding. But a single Nigerian could do it. Meaning it is not we as the problem. It's the people we elect, and we are the fault. We are like the barrister remind us yesterday, we can blame them as much as they want. But when you see a village fool, do not vote for him. I'm old enough to make that statement. I know you guys are young, so let's take a look at the papers together.
Okay, we'll start with the Punch. And the big story on the Punch says discos make 1 trillion naira amid Greek crisis. Unmetered customers hit 1.5 million. It also says discos grew revenue by 30% in 2023. Overbilled customers despite grid collapses. Electricity tariff hike looms as FG raises gas price. NERC vows more sanctions over estimated bill. And by the top left, we have Tinubu, African leaders, grace Senegal's president swearing in today. We also have OPEC oil output plunges as Nigeria, Iraq slash exports. You can find that story on the Punch on page 24. We have next sits over state police as governors plan forest guards. That story is on page 6. We have ex-governor's trial shows EFCC won't spare anyone. That's coming from Olukoyede. That story is on page 8. And by the bottom, we have some pictures here. And the write-up says, Easter, fun seekers flood parks, beaches amid tough times. You can find that on page 7. We also have presidential nod. Ondo APC governor aspirant besiege Abuja for Tinubu's endorsement. That's on page 3. Police go after hoodlums for raiding night bus, robbing passengers. That story is on page 5. Zenith Bank extends win as Nigeria's best bank. That story is on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. These are all the stories we have on the Punch this morning.
Thank you, Blessing. I was just saying to myself, if I hear any bad news from Benway today, if I hear any bad news, listen, now I put Blessing on the map, 2 of them. Now these 2 Benway ladies, if I hear one bad news from Benway today, I go send them back to the governor when I go ask a question. So we didn't hear, we're not seen anyway. Today, let us a day of joy. Let's see, because Benway people are getting better. No, it's necessary digression. I just want to. It's good to read Nigerian newspaper and not see people killed, people kidnapped. I pray we don't see that on today's news. Kids being with this, but actually it's a day of joy because I can see people Nigeria making 1 trillion naira the discos. Now so at the club. When I give me the statistics, come on, young people.
We're talking about the electricity, sir.
I thought this our this, I thought this nightclub. Disco.
No,
It's
say I belong to this day when would they go disco? Now I don't know say now a new disco. Our disco now supposed to make 1 trillion now for the joy. So now disco what I teach me my daughters. So what happened? Anyway, it's a shame that I'm on the other side of the clock. You can forgive me for that.
I think they are just saying that they grew their revenue by 30% in 2023, and they overbilled customers.
They asked me in the house in Lagos, They asked me to pay 77,000 naira every month. They didn't bring in meters. There is no, I don't have a choice. I cannot contest it. I must pay 77,000 naira every month, whether I use the light or not. And
And
I
that
and I
is why
just
and that is why the former president Buhari, did say on the national TV that unmetered customers, for instance, if the agencies refuse giving you meter, uh you don't have right to pay anybody light bill. Don't pay them, but you can use the light, because it's actually their duties to make these meters available. We live in a 21st century. You don't expect people. I'm not using the lights, and for instance, now I've not been in Abuja. I have a house there, and I'm not using the lights, and so I'm supposed to be paying still. So for me, it doesn't make sense. If I'm there using the light, fine, you can ask me to pay for it. And so if I'm traveling, all I have to do is just put it on neutral, and I go where I'm going to. So nobody charges me, nothing is happening. It's just there until I return. And so it's the same thing people have been clamoring for when it comes to, our service provider,
Yeah,
telecommunications and
but
all that.
we,
You cannot keep I had a guy then that was staying in one room in Abuja, and then they were just doing this estimated billing. He used to pay 22K every month. How much was his salary then? It was not even up to 100K. So it doesn't make sense, billing people. And most time in Abuja, a lot of people actually they go out to work. They're usually not at home, and then they come back at night, apparently no lights as well. And then by the end of the month, you bring this outrageous bill for them to pay. And so I remember then that was why the president did say, if they don't give you your meter, don't pay them, and make sure they don't cut your light as well. A lot
but
of people
Princess,
have actually applied for this meter. My mom did like 2 4 years ago. Now she's here no more. And what are we supposed to do? So it's
so you don't
still.
have the meter anymore. You still don't have the meter.
No, we don't have the meter. And they kept said that I was asking some days ago, and they said that they've applied, they've not brought them and all that. So in this part of the country, it's still estimated billing. But I know in Abuja, like 70% or 75% actually we use meter.
So and look at the change. You know, when I was in Abuja, I was in this my brother's flat. The light electricity bill was cool because it wasn't too expensive. I put in 15,000 naira. It was there throughout. You understand? Because and we had constant electricity around that Sokoro area, so it wasn't that bad at all. So if you are poor, you're on your own. That is the system. Because if I am if perhaps if I come to my village now, I must pay estimated bill, which I didn't use, and we are the poorest. Those who can even pay are free, and those who cannot pay are the ones suffering. But who do we cry to in this situation? President says so. Of course, Tinubu has not said anything about this. But who can we cry to in those situations, Princess? Is there any authority we can complain to and say, hey, go to hell, or we're just going to fight with NEPA? How do you call them now?
And
This
funny enough, something I've seen with the meter, even my house in Abuja, my landlord is so scared going there, because he came complaining to me that he has been going there to complain to them, and they kept saying, don't worry, just pay and they will deliver. Sometimes you pay for five and they deliver only two or three. And so that sometimes he will call me, please go, go. If they see you, they will release the meters and all that. And so the ones we have in my compound, I actually brought them for him. I applied for those ones, and because I know somebody there I used to interview. So when you go there, like even this young guy said that they were charging 22K. I took him there that no, you people can't keep doing that. How much is his salary? He can't keep paying 20 something thousand in the light he's not even seen. And said before you know, they gave him the meter, and so they just installed it for him. And you find that this boy was not even using up to 5K. Then though the tariff was still very cheap, but now it's quite expensive as well. And except of course we are not using AC and water heaters and all that. And then that means you'll be able to manage. But another good thing is that most time we that are using prepaid, if you're leaving the house, if your freezer is already cool enough, you can just turn it off, and you just go to where you're going and it's there. And so these are some of the issues, and this boils down to people using, doing bypass. When since the electricity company have refused to do what is needful. If you come to this area, you see a lot of people doing bypass, even in Abuja. I know one guy in my estate was telling me that, do you pay for B? I said yes. He said no, we can do a bypass for you, and then you don't have to stress yourself. But I say I don't have time for all that. And so that is the reason why a lot of people here where I am, they do bypass a lot, because the company also have refused to, do what is right.
Well, we just pray that something that the government actually intervene, because this is a robbery on the part of Nigerians. Look at these people declaring this amount of money, and I know they don't pay any tax, but you can see that maybe the government is actually not paying them. We had a news from these people saying that government have not paid their bill, the ministry are not paying bills. So ministry doesn't pay, government does not pay. So which man does the government have to tell them, say, hey, stop robbing Nigerians?
That's the thing.
Well, I'm just gonna we're gonna move slowly to what we have. But I see a news that is on top. Tinubu, other African leaders, Grace Senegalese swearing in today. You know,
Today.
I don't know whether you guys are familiar with this new Senegalese president. I know my women are on the platform. Favor, don't listen to some of
Yes,
the
sir.
things in your hair. But this guy, he came out on his day of his wedding. He walks down with his two wives. You understand? He's a
Yes.
Senegalese president. You understand? He has two wives,
Okay.
and he came out with them. And like Atiko would have come out with his four wives, because I know Atiko has his four wives. So we're not going to have a first lady. We're going to have four ladies, first four ladies, right?
That's okay.
We pray that we get to that stage. But you know what I love about this guy? I think the time is coming for us in Africa, especially the Francophone Africa, to say bye-bye to France. We blame English for as much as we want, but England gave us some little bit of respite. They left and they allowed us to govern things. But you know, most of
Yes.
these French countries, they don't have independence. Their currency
Yes.
is linked to France. They
Yes.
control their central bank from France. In fact, these guys are not independent. They are not. And
That's
the
true.
only good thing to celebrate is they had a free and fair election. Tinubu is going there. I hope Baba will come back and preach the need for us to have a free and fair elections in Nigeria. I pray that President Tinubu will come back. If not be time, it's my turn. I seize it. No. Let the will of the people. You see, if they don't see you as the one that can deliver them, do not force yourself into us. It is wrong. And perhaps that is the thing. Election. Kids are getting discouraged. People no more have faith in the system. I told the barrister yesterday that my vote will count. He said that would be a failure before I even start. I said, but that is some of the reality. But let's really put that aside. We, anybody, and you know our number one enemy is he that imposes himself on us. Those people that practice electocracy because they don't allow us to vote for our leaders, they select who goes. And that is the problem. And that's why they are not accountable to us. I think that should be a discussion on another day. But today is a day to celebrate with Senegal. We wish the guy good well. Yeah, for me, he's going to be a true African guy. I don't want him to. My message to him is please do not celebrate by with two wives alone. We applaud you. You have two wives. You know what? Please claim Senegal from France. If you know you don't have independence in Senegal, try and have one. And that should be something I know that we'll be looking forward to. Other than that, I'm scared to read the red lines. You know, I don't like reading red lines on this the red news. If you I see the red cover, man, I hope this robbing passengers is not in Benway.
No, sir.
I'm only Benway. I mean it. I hope the people who rob here are not from Benway. They are not from Kaduna. They are not from Plateau.
This new Senegal president Dakar is when I saw him days ago, or I know that he's young. That's one thing that actually caught my attention. He's quite young, and that's something that I know in Nigeria we don't know whether we ever get to that part where Faye, or what's his name, where he got to in Senegal. Uh, um, it's quite sad that in Nigeria here, these people hold on to power. The fact that they see the youth, or they see the younger people as they what do they know? They don't have the experience. They don't.
But
They
I
can't. They
don't
can't.
think that is true, Princess. I think the young people have not really. They've not really said no to these old men. You guys have not said no to us. If you want it, you will take it. I'm going to quote this man. Let me put it this way. Two things I'm going to make two reference. Like one was yesterday when when this guy, the barrister told me, he accused me and made it clear to me that no, if I say my vote won't count, I've failed already. That is number one. Then number two, let me quote what Erufai said. Erufai said the most beautiful girl in Nigeria is not Miss Nigeria. Have you seen the beauty contest, Miss Nigeria? Miss Nigeria is not the most beautiful woman in Nigeria. He said the most beautiful woman in Nigeria is probably in somebody's house as a housewife. But the one that is our Miss Nigeria today is among the few that came out and said, I want to run for this office. And one of them
Yes.
will totally win. The question I ask is, how many young people have the determination, other than being corrupt themselves now, are looking to praise? You know what young people are doing? 90% of young people in Nigeria, they sing praises. They are the one praising the idiots. They're the one praising them. You see young people, you see that self-determination. We lack it now. I'm talking of young people. You guys lack that self-determination, that love, that confidence to say, let's go for it. Look at what was happening in Edo State. A young man came out and he won. You know, he's been trashed. And that guy shouldn't have accepted a second position. More than obvious. He won the election first time. If he mean it, why must he be deputy? Confident. Do you really want to work for the people? Then don't accept anything less. And Princess, so I'm worried about your guys, your age, and I have a lot of you. You're on the platform. You know, you'll be the one to lead us here. Tell us, what position have you seen, or what effort as the young people, other than the protest? Protest is not it. It's time to organize. We want to see more young people running for the office of the president in Nigeria. Not sitting behind and say, hey, we want this to happen. No, come out. If you think you have what it takes, come. You know, I interviewed a guy during the election. The guy, he spoke, and I begged him, why are you not the candidate? Why is Tinubu the candidate?
I
So,
think before this election, I think I want to agree with you. When you go to Dakar, that period, all this time of the campaign and all that, it's quite a young person, and it's somebody that actually these people actually wanted. The people themselves wanted. Another thing with
In
Nigeria
fact,
is that this
I said,
fire guy, this fire guy, I don't know if the courage he came out with. We've seen, for instance, I know a lot of people do not take Yul Edochie very seriously for some reasons or the other. But Edochie did come out then contesting. He did the state governor, and then he proceeded. I wanted to contest for Nigerian's president. And the next thing, nobody knows what happened. There was a real switch there, quick switch there. The next thing, he was backing Tinubu. And for instance, we've seen the
Princess,
likes
he
of
was backing
you,
Tinubu. If somebody that
yes,
knows that he has something to offer Nigeria,
to
is he
offer.
saying that Tinubu have what he can offer? You see, I had that issue with them, all of them. You understand? It's better you don't accept.
But
If
but
I'm
but but but, but to be fair, we saw the likes of Shonwolu. No, it's not. It's a show. Is it Showore or
so
the
yeah.
other guy? The CEO of Sarah Reporter. We saw him and a few others that actually wanted to, actually wanted to, like, they had the same boldness and courage.
The princess, radicalism does not make you a leader. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my network. There's something that is actually
Princess,
peculiar with us Nigeria. We have this, I don't know. We feel like we cannot do it. We need somebody to. We need to queue behind somebody.
yes, princess, this is the problem. And that's why I started the show by reminding Nigeria that the airport here is owned by Nigeria. He's not an old man. The guy that owns airpiece is not an old man. All right. So if those guys could not, this was my take. Peter Obi did not give anybody one penny. You know, Peter did not give people a penny in his race in his pursuit of the presidency. He was saying what we want to hear. He was sincere with himself. Peter
And sir,
was
but sir, when we come to electoral issues, I want you to know something, right? electoral issues in Nigeria is not the same everywhere like outside Nigeria.
Princess, we
Now,
can do it.
if you have been to Dakar for the past how many weeks, there's this energy, right? There's this. We had the same energy during the time of Peter Obi.
Thank
We
you.
had.
So don't say we don't
I
have the
covered
energy.
that election live for
We
you,
have
sir.
energy.
We
Yes.
covered the election, the past election, sir.
Yes.
You
Yes.
saw the energy from the youth. You saw the energy from the
Exactly.
people.
Yes.
But we know that the electoral system or institution is something that needs overhauling. It's
Princess,
not bad.
it must
Sometimes it's
not
not
happen
about
the
the young
first day.
people. It's not about
I agree with
us.
you. Now it's old against the young. So let's have this debate. Princess, it's not about the first day. What happened was a success for young people. It must not be Peter next time. You understand? It shows that every young.
But sir, also after that election, we brought in. I kept bringing young people here, and you notice that their hopes were actually dashed because they knew very well that this election, according to majority, was rigged. Not because they
Princess,
didn't vote for the people they wanted to vote for, but because the
but
electoral system,
yes,
INEC needs
Princess.
overhauling, and that is what everybody has been saying, sir.
Yes, Princess.
INEC, Nigerians
You
will only the
go.
judiciary and INEC. We need to checkmate them. It's not about me voting for you, sir. If I vote for you, if the judiciary do not want you to come, you won't get there, sir.
No, Princess.
And that
This
has
is the
been the
difference.
debate.
Princess, oh,
It's not
Princess.
just
This is
about
the
INEC,
difference.
but the judiciary as well, because where
Now
to
Princess is only
courts,
recording
the
our failure.
cliche, go to courts. And when you go to what happens, these same people also, these old people also controls the judiciary.
Yes.
And so it will be
Princess, you are
difficult, sir,
recording.
for the young people.
Princess, you are preaching the failures. You're not preaching the successes. It's for the first time in Nigeria that somebody who did not come with money, who did not who did not come bag of rice and stuff, almost got the presidency. We pay nothing. That is where you should be celebrating. That is what that concerns us today. That to the first time Peter has set the pace. It is not Peter because it shows that we can do it. You know what I always say to people? If you go to church, in Nigeria, go to church on Sunday, somebody sits on the altar and he preach about God, and we put hand in our pocket and we contribute to the altar, to the work of God, which we don't see. If somebody tell us about how he's going to make Nigeria better, we will be the one to sponsor his campaign. We saw that with Peter Obi. I want young people to know that they can do this. One day that somebody fail doesn't mean you will fail. Where's your confidence? Are there this airpiece guy said, oh, because you know how many people were trying to discourage airpiece from coming here? From local and international. You cannot do it. But the guy said, yes, I will do it. Look at him today. This is airpiece. Airpiece is here. So is it the old people that made it happen? No. Sometimes we expect things to be so soft. It cannot be soft. Jesus Christ have to die. Let me put it that way. For change, for us, for mankind to have salvation, that's what we just celebrated yesterday. Jesus Christ himself, God himself have to die. You know what? That you won't go heaven. Young people, get up and take over your country. You have the chance. You have everything. Tell the old men, tell us to go and sleep. We will go to bed. Until you guys really wake up and say, this country is ours. It's time to say to this old man, sit down. What's Tinubu doing there anyway? And look at the people it's going to bring. It's going to bring old. Look at you have Tinubu. He bring in Akpabio. Old tips. Sorry. They're my leaders. But you guys shouldn't be there. You are there because the young people refuse to do the needful. And I'm crying, I'm weeping. And young people don't have excuse anymore. They cannot say because I don't have money. Because if Peter did not spend money, why are you not doing it?
So the problem is young people coming out is not actually the problem. Will they be accepted? Like Princess Delta said,
Who's going to
the
accept you?
judiciary
You make
is there.
yourself accepted.
The
Nobody accepts you.
executive controls the judiciary. So it's
No,
actually
forget it. The judiciary, are you saying that the judiciary, even when judiciary retire, you see the judiciary is not controlled by old people in Senegal? The judiciary is controlled by old people everywhere. At a point in time, they will be tired. When they see young people that they are not ready to give up, they will run. They will run away.
I believe that. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Sorry for cutting you, sir.
Cut
You
me,
know,
daughter. I like
I
that. Yes. I'm fighting you all today.
I think that the system in Nigeria, the system of government, is it's more than meets the eye. We will only talk about what we see on the outside, but it is more than meets the eye. I always think it's more like a monarchy system that after this person rules, they know the next person that is in line. You understand? So it will be difficult to break the transmission. They already know that after this person is done, this is the
Yes.
next person that will take power. Like that is how they hand over power. That is how the system has been. So Obi coming into it was wanting to break that system, which was why it was so difficult for him. Like just coming newly and breaking a system that has been for years. Like the system that has been for years. It's more like a monarchy system than a
Anyway,
democratic system.
Flavor, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna say this again. When the Catholic Church came, sorry guys, it was only three churches we know in Nigeria. All right, the
Yes.
Catholic, the Anglican, the Baptist. Today, they are nowhere. They were forced to sit up. Now we have I'm a Catholic. We have now the charismatic reunion. They are now trying to meet up with what the young people did. Then Pastor Christian Yakilome were not afraid. Oyedepo was not afraid. Redeem was not afraid. They break the yoke. Young people can break this. In fact, you have everything to break it. Now you have technology on your hands. Everybody have a TV. Gone are the days when we could not communicate. Our time, there was no communication. Today, nobody watch channels. Sean, do you watch NTA? All of you and none of you watch NTA. Your television is your phone. This is where you win election. Communication. Now you can communicate in Nigeria.
I do, sir. I actually watch NCAT tomorrow. I follow every news every day.
Okay, I
Network
agree with you.
news, every other
Princess,
station.
you are
Yes,
if
sir.
you
We
want
do for a reason. We do for a reason, sir. If you're a
okay,
journalist, if you're taught in school,
good.
you have to go through news.
As
Yes,
a
sir.
journalist, not
Not
as a
just that,
consumer.
even before I became, even when I was a child, I used to follow my dad to watch and to read papers as well. So
Okay, that is your
what
dad.
favor
Your dad is
no
your
what
daughter's guest.
what favor is
Daughter.
trying to say is this, sir. There's a gene already, and they already know the next person that will take over, like you
Princess,
said.
we're gonna break
This
that
thing
gene.
is you cannot truncate their what they
No,
have
we
planned
can't.
and all that. They will do
Jesus
anything
Christ,
to bring
Princess,
it down, sir.
Princess, are you saying the gene in Nigeria is stronger than the Pharisees and the Sadducees that Jesus Christ had to break? Those guys were hardcore.
Sir, we live in a country where, okay, for instance, now in the UK, you've been there. If something happens, there are laws, rule of law. There are laws to be followed. Now, if you are caught, you already know that you face this, whatever the consequences. Nigeria, you will get away with it. I saw a news from Punch this morning. Blessing read a news, something about I'm coming. Let me see if I can get to that news. Something about EFCC will not uh ex-governor's trials shows EFCC won't spare anyone. We all know that this is just, a cliche of, coming to the paper to say the same thing. They will always get away with it. It's the ordinary common man that will go there and be rotting in jail. It's only a few cases, sir. And
Yes,
then we saw also that a lot of people, okay, Ikweremadu, for instance, if what he did was to be in Nigeria, he will be a free man as we speak.
yes, he will
He's
be
only
running for
serving
president.
because he did that
The
in the
first brother would
UK,
have run
sir.
for president. He was going to run for
Yes.
president. Yes.
We know that a lot of people also in that KFC have been thrown out, but
But
because this is a
Princess, you people are
senator's
not telling me
child.
about the successes. So, where young people have climbed, you are not telling me about the success. If it is the same country where an Okada rider won an election in Kaduna,
That is just one in a very large number, sir.
Princess,
We are
is it
not
not how
saying
it's
that
going to
young people
start?
are not progressing. We are not saying young people, but it's going to be difficult, overthrowing this set of people, these cabals, this godfather. There's something we call godfatherism in the political space, yes, sir. And that is the point I want you to understand.
I do. I think
These
I
people,
do.
they will tell you that you don't even have the experience, you cannot rule and all that. So, like Favor said, it's already, Tunubu knew. Okay, for instance, now we already have people clamoring around Tunubu, and he knows that when I'm leaving, this is the next. The person is there as we speak, and so until we put in more pressure, like what you're saying, we try more. Even though we are trying, we've been crying, we've been shouting. We nobody sees tend to see or hear us. We pray that we'll get there, and with our efforts as well. Anyway,
Yes,
we have the doctor is communicating with me. I don't know if he's around, but Yete said
it's
he's
not.
coming on
He
the
has not. He
show.
has not joined us. He has not joined us. I
Okay,
think.
there's another story before we move from Punch that I want us to look on. I've always said that on state policing before. There's a story there from FEC, or there's a story from NEC rather, that says sits over state police as governors plans forest guards. I think that's a way to go, because just yesterday, last night, my elder brother told me that the French child was kidnapped very close to us here on the expressway to Port Harcourt. She was on her way back from school, and everybody in that bus was actually kidnapped. And now they are demanding five. Some already have been killed as well. Their parents said they don't have any money to give, and immediately they were shot. They were killed. But my friends, my brother's friend daughter, I think they were able. My brother said he even was running around. All of them, they had to gather the 5 million naira, and they sent to this group of people. And it's worrisome, because I was trying to ask my brother. So you people actually took this money, or you sent this money? That they actually asked the person to bring the money somewhere, and of course, if you involve the police, your child will be gone. And so it's worrisome. I was telling my brother that, but how can you people do this? My brother now said, don't even start with this, your grandma and all that. I'm not interested. We all know that if we involve the police, the child will die. And there are cases in the past where the police got involved, and of course, these people were actually killed. And that this person in question that was calling the parent, they sounds like a bookie people, not even people from this area, and all that. And that they are familiar with the bushes around more than the people around. So I was like, what is the community there doing then? We have a king. I even had to call somebody from the community yesterday. My brother was so angry. Stay away from this. Go to Abuja and do your journalism. Don't do it here. Don't get us into trouble and all that. So I was even just okay. Seeing people don't need any help. But it's worrisome. This is a child coming from school, and then they've all been kidnapped, and now the parents will have to start running head to scatter to start bringing that money. And so even sometimes market women, selling pepper, tomatoes coming from the market, and the next thing they are kidnapped. So I think state policing for me would be the way to go. We have been clamoring for state policing. We have been begging. These people know the dialect, they know the people, they know the culture, they know the bushes as well. And so I think it will be able, like we have the Amoteku in Ogun State. I think this is something every state should actually clamor for at this point, because we can't keep having people from Ugele to Irene here. You can't move freely. The next thing, a group of terrorists will come and kidnap more than 50 people in just in 10 minutes, and they start demanding 5 million. And before you know, next 3 days they are there kidnapping another set. So I think they should actually, the governors should we need to sit up on state policing for us to get to a logical, what's it called, get to a place where we know that people are safe in moving around.
This
Please, I am
princess,
so.
princess, the same message I sent to Benway. Now I go send to that for Delta now. If I wake up tomorrow, another bad news from Delta, I was praying that there should be no more bad news. You're telling me there's another people being kidnapped again and they're paying ransom. And the issue of state police, something we're going to do right after the break. But you know what? We have the doctor now in our midst. When we come back from this quick break, we're going to have doctor, and we need to discuss autism because people are suffering from it and it needs to be addressed. A doctor that is knowledgeable in this field is going to join us shortly. I pronounced the name. His name is Dr. Alexander Akpodieta, so that I will not get
Akpodiete, sir.
Akpodiete.
Akpodiete.
I don't, and Robo, because I'm a Robo man, they run around too much. I wasn't ready. I'm going to come back to that. When I introduce doctor, I will be careful this time. It's Dr. Alexander Akpodiete. I'm coming.
Ooh la la! The second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024 is here.
It's another blend of arts and culture, entertainment, business, and networking activities.
A week-long extravaganza showcasing the best of Nigerian music, dance, craft, fashion, and businesses.
Taking place at the prestigious Lighthouse Theatre, 262-274 Camberwell Road, London, SE5 OAY. Date 22nd to 28 July 2024.
Tickets are available at everbright.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com.
Or call +4407 459 513 619 or +4420 3623 8755.
Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com/Nigerian Week 2024.
Come and experience a nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're still on Wake Up Nigeria. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of April, 2024, and it is World Autism Day. As I said earlier, we want you people to know. The question I asked is, what do you know about autism? I knew little, and my guests have been able to tell us a little about it. But right now, we're in the presence of an expert, Dr. Alexander Akpodete is right here with us. Doctor, I don't know whether I've pronounced your name well for once. Have I tried this time? I know this. I'm struggling, you know. So to make sure I don't make mistake, and I hope I got it right for once. You know, Doctor. Hello, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you got.
I got it right. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Yes. We know you are busy. Thank you for squeezing time to join us. We really appreciate this. Doctor, quick to the matter. Today is World Autism Day. Many of us don't even understand what it is. And we've been trying to crack our head, try to use our layman experience to talk about it. We are laymen here. What is autism? What are the causes? What are the symptoms? And do you have idea of some statistics in the country?
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm glad to be in your midst today. A day that's created by United Nations General Assembly, by which the disease entity that has afflicted human being come inside of the uterus. The evidence of the disease may be seen. Actually comes when the baby is growing, maybe after the first year of life, it starts manifesting. Although some people, it might stay much longer. And the description is that there is something that is happening. For the brain to transmit does not show in the areas that we call it some differences in the brain. What the child should achieve is not able to achieve it, is not able to show it, and the person reacts or interact with society. So, and then the way he relates with people, the way he verbalizes, and some of them will have repetitive movements like, okay, twisting of the or twisting the leg, and somebody will be asking, what's the matter? Why the one that is in control of what the brain is supposed to give to the body to transmission, so the person is behaving a bit on the abnormal side. Have difficulty in making speech. It is a multifactorial problem. It's not one particular thing that is tied it to either genetic factors. There are some genes they can have that problem. One example is what we call the fragile. Sometimes is related to the gene that also transmits Down syndrome and predisposition to it.
Yeah, Doctor, you're shaky today. First time we're experiencing this. We can't really, so it's breaking up.
My network.
Yes, so now we can hear you. Yes. it's not the network. I think it's the sound. It's coming up and going, coming up. I don't know where it's only me.
It's
All right,
actually
yeah.
breaking. It's the network, sir. His
It's the
network
network.
is breaking.
And it's unfortunate because we really want to get this in full. That is Dr. Alexander is still with
Wow.
us. You can see him. He's telling us about some of the symptoms, the causes, and of this horrible. Uh, in fact, what do you call it? It's not a disease, so
It's a
it's
disorder.
Autism.
I
disorder.
don't
Yeah,
know. The
thank you.
doctor said I would tell us.
The right word will be a disorder. Thank you very much. And I wanted to understand it. Something they call. That's what I'm going to ask doctor. What is disorder? What is a disease? I don't know. It's a disorder. Anyway, doctor, are you there?
Or a disease. Right? There is actually a thin line between them. A disorder may mean that there is no really a particular thing that you need to treat specifically, but that the person is not at ease. And one of the way to describe disease is that once you are not at ease with your system, then you have a disease.
Is that
So
a disease?
yes, a disorder can actually be a disease.
And
But
so,
because they want to make a difference as, okay, there's no one particular thing that we are going to treat, like, okay, this is a bacteria that is causing it, this is a virus that is causing it, but you see that there is a manifestation in the body that is saying that their body is not properly functioning. It
yes.
becomes a disorder. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
most disease,
when I was doing a
specifically,
documentary on sickle cell, they use the word disorder, and I said, "Listen, it's either a disease or a disorder." But we deal with that. But doctor, back to this autism. What you as we were talking, the thing was breaking up. So please run us through it again. What are the
okay.
causes? We can say here that what are the causes? Because I think we've seen one or two people who have it. But what are the causes? What can we say? Where do we trace it to? Is it gene? Is it a genetic thing? Is it
Okay.
something I can inherit from my family? Is it because this is or something that must have happened during pregnancy, or I ate something, or lifestyle? How do we this? Yes. What are the causes?
Okay, actually, you have a good idea, and I know that you are wide in your access of information, so you can actually talk about these things. But specifically, autism spectrum disorder. That's the way they call it, autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. And what it means is that the brain sends information maybe different from what is expected, and so the person where it is happening, where that disorder is happening, is not able to control the expression and is not able to achieve what it's supposed to do. There are some things we call developmental milestones, and that one we know that at some point in time a child should be able to crawl. At some point in time a child should be able to hear words, to hear sound and respond to the sound, and respond to his name if you call his name. But in autism, the person does not even respond to his name. Sometimes you make a sound and you want to attract the attention of the child, and then he's not even responding. So they lose interest in the environment, lose interest in people. They are always within themselves, and if they want to verbalize, they have difficulty in verbalizing. And even if they are able to say something, they cannot say plenty words at a time. So they are limited in their functions. Okay. So the causes, as I said before, is multifactorial, meaning that many things are coming together to produce that effect. Okay, so sometimes they say there is gene component of it, meaning that some people that have certain types of gene can have that disease. And one example is fragile X syndrome. It's not. We are not going to go into detail what that means.
Yes.
Sometimes they talk about
That's
tuberous
big.
sclerosis and then
That's
Down syndrome. Yes, but what the other expression is that concerning gene is that if a twin brother, a twin child has it, the other twin is likely to also have it, even up to about 90%. That other twin might have it. So that tells us that there is connection to the gene of that person. So there's a genetic component. The other component is that it's environmental, It may be something that is happening in the environment, like air pollution, like the use of pesticide. Nowadays, we use a chemical to spray our farms, and then those chemicals, some of them can get into the crops that we are eating. So all those things may have some effect in the human being's brain metabolism, and those one can lead to autism as well. The other thing is that we may have a biological factor, that is, as human being grows, we get to express some things that are in our body. So if we look at all those things, we can pick out a few things. One, for women who are elderly before they get pregnant, there is a chance that they can have autistic children, because at that stage, usually when they are genetically, the older you become before you become pregnant, before you have children, there are genetic changes that may have taken place. Okay. Two, if you have a twin brother who is who is having that disease, it's likely that it will also do. And then the other factors are like, and the environment, as I say, use of pesticide, use of air pollution, like in oil business, where they need to burn a lot of hydrocarbons, everything is floating in the air and people have it. But the issue now is that it comes it's not after when the child is born, it comes while the child is in utero. So that the problem actually affects the parents or the mother who is carrying the baby. And then through the mother, it gets into the baby and so it is, all this complication comes from the mother that have had effect of these genetic manipulations and environmental manipulations that now have effect on the baby. So I think that those are some of the things that can cause it. And then okay, we still need to look at things like infections in the brain, and then infections in the brain, and then birth trauma. Some children, okay, when they are being given birth to it, they have birth trauma. They can also tell you. So it's both genetic, environmental, and some biological factors. Yes.
Doctor, I'm here frustrated because I know my team, they have a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask only one so that they can come in. This is where I come in. I am here frustrated thinking, okay, if I have a child that have a disorder in Nigeria, I'm on my own. There's no support from any authority. I probably don't have enough money to raise the bills. So I'm left to die with the kids. What are the doctor society? I don't know what I'll call them. Actually do to influence the government to do the needful here, because this is your profession. You are left alone to deal with ordinary people who don't have enough money to pay the bills. The government they are not putting in any support. In the UK, there's something we call the carer, especially when it is a disease that cannot be treated, meaning what we need is a care. We don't have any system in place to care. So how do you, I know you're human, how do you deal with human being coming to you with these huge challenges? I know you are talking about tuberculosis the other day. You guys were raising awareness on that. How do you people within the medical field actually try to get the government to work and do the needful, because the burden is coming down to you?
All right. Well, we are in Nigeria, and we know that we have a lot of issues concerning healthcare. Healthcare in Nigeria is still very, very bad, and that is why some people are still traveling to London. You say I should not come to London, so
No, you're not coming, sir. Please, you come on holiday. We will agree. Holiday, sir. But you stay here. We need you at home,
okay,
please.
when I need the money to come for holiday, I will come and I'll let you know.
Yes,
Okay,
we'll do that. We'll owe you that duty. Yes, sir.
But for the question, we need to say that government has limited funding in order to pursue all that they want to pursue. So they say that they are trying their best, but their best actually is not enough. So we find situation where the medical profession in their various associations, like Nigerian Medical Association, like Association of Private Practitioners and all of that, they are there, they see these patients. And of course, they make their recommendations to government. But of course, the response of government to it is really bad, nothing to write home about. And so we see that many of the cases that are treated because people pay out of their pockets. There is health insurance. We do not know exactly what the health insurance is actually doing for people. Many people who are enrolled in the health insurance are actually not going to the hospital, but the money that they are being paid, we do not know whether it's effective in actually caring for the people. So, but government have those questions to answer. But for me, what I think is that this kind of awareness creation should be able to make people to know exactly what autism is and see what help they can do. Because caring for an autistic child is a multidisciplinary approach. It's not just only the doctor, it's not only just the government, but the family people have a role to play, the community people have a role to play, the church have a role to play. So many people, philanthropists have a role to play. So we are creating awareness so that every facet of life, every people will be able to know that this is a challenge that we need to contribute to. Because the care of these people is not just going to hospital. People need to be trained how to talk. People need to be trained how to control the automatic muscular movements that they are not in control of. We need to be able to tell them that somehow you can actually compose yourself enough to be able to control some of those things if you know that this is what is coming to you. Because some of them we get to, over time, we get to know when the muscle starts to move and all of that. So we need to also talk to the health, the education system to know that there is a challenge for people who are not, who are having difficulty in learning, that they need special attention in the educational system to be able to help them. I know that there are educational provision for people with learning disabilities in Nigeria, and then those people can actually offer their expertise in for these people that are having autistic disorder that need to be helped. So on that way, in their small ways, government parastatals can actually offer what they have to do, but it's not as expected. But then that also means that even the parents, the family, and the society can also do one or two things. So this creation of awareness is for them to be up and about, know what it is, and see what they can offer. But for Nigeria, I think that things are getting better. The World TB Day, I heard that the First Lady of Nigeria donated 1 billion naira towards fighting TB in Nigeria. So if those things can be replicated for other disease entity, other disorders like Down syndrome, like the autistic spectrum disorder we are talking about, then we'll be going somewhere. Thank you.
Yes, Doctor, I'll come back to that. I'll let my people talk. We're going to come back to the First Lady donation.
I have a question. Doctor, so you said the causes of autism. Autism is we have genetic and environmental. So genetic, I know is something that cannot be controlled. It comes out like that. But when it comes to environmental, I would like to know if there is any way to prevent it, sir.
Yes, when we talk about environmental, we are talking about the things that are happening in the atmosphere, in our environment that can affect human being health system. And some very common to us in the Niger Delta, at least, if not the whole of Nigeria, is air pollution from oil exploration. And when they burn these gases that they are not supposed to burn, gases that they're supposed to liquefy so that they can use it to supply to home for domestic activity, we are flaring them and they are producing carbon and products of carbon that are affecting the respiratory system and all of that. Some of them affect the skin. You see people having dermatitis because of all those small deposits. If you go to Warri Refinery, sometime in the morning, you see soot everywhere. The air is dark, and then all those ones precipitate when the rain falls, fall on our skin, fall on the ground, and vegetation are taking up all those things and it's affecting us. So we can look at what is happening in our environment. Can we still say, as a country, we should not be flaring gases? It will reduce the air pollution. And now vehicles are moving. There is what we call the ozone layer and the effect of of vehicles that are using petroleum product for motion, that we need to be able to change our system so that we will not be using all those things. So that will, if we are able to comply with those things, then we will be reducing the level of pollution in the air. But more than that, also, we find out that even in our local places, people do not farm and cut grass anymore. They use chemical pesticide in our homes and all of that. All those things have effect. They pollute the environment, and then also they pollute the food that we have, and all those things are there. So we need to use many of these things with caution. People who smoke, they are there. A lot of things are happening in our environment. Dust is there. A lot of things are actually happening. So we need to see how to be able to cope with the environment, how to manipulate our environment so that the destruction that comes from pollution will be reduced. I think that government should have policy about that and see what we can do about it. Then individually, what we can do to reduce pollution from our own side. Those who are smoking needs to know that smoking is dangerous and has many effects. Those who are using pesticide and then using herbicide to kill weeds and all of that needs to know that there are implications. So if we use them, we need to use them with caution as well.
Okay. Okay, I also want to ask a question. Thank you for that explanation. Can early diagnosis help the child if it's discovered on time? Is there anything? I know you said there's no treatment, but if the child is diagnosed on time, is there anything that can be done to make the growing up process better?
Yeah, yes. If the diagnosis is made on time, then it will be easier to plan at the early stage to see how this child is going to grow up. That means that we need to pay attention to the growth rate of this child, the developmental milestone at when he's supposed to be able to call mama, when he's supposed to be able to call papa, when he's supposed to be able to say ba 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 and all those things. If he's not achieving it, then we know on time and know that this person needs specific help in trying to train the child to do it. However, the diagnosis is also not simple because there's no one machine you will use to diagnose and say this is autistic. We need the pediatricians, we need the neurologists, those who take care of brain problems. We need the pediatrician who take care of children illness. And we need the psychologists and psychiatrists to come into it to be able to look at the signs and symptoms that the person is manifesting to be able to make up their mind and say, this is autistic disorder. So it is then that we can actually say we need to do this or we need to do that. So every person needs to say come together. But the earlier we are able to come together, the better. And then also for us to be able to pool all these resources together, the parent of the children needs to monitor the growth and the development of their children to be able to know when there is a problem. And then that problem will make them to seek redress from these other people that I mentioned, the pediatrician, the neurologist, and then the psychiatrist or psychologist to be able to make that. So once that is done, then there can be a plan, even though it is not quite effective in the country yet. But I know that there are some areas where we know that people with disabilities can be taken to and they are taken care of.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, doctor. You did mention. I was going to ask about how to diagnose, apart from the signs you talked about. If they are not able to speak at certain age, or they are not able to hear or respond to sound. But also, I want you to tell us what exactly is the difference between an autistic child and, of course, a Down syndrome or any other similar disorder like that.
Okay, specifically between Down syndrome and autistic child, Down syndrome is a specific genetic problem. It usually does not have environmental factor, except that as the child is growing, the response of the people to whatever limitation it has may be the problem, maybe something that would look like stigmatization and all that. But Down syndrome people are actually very active people. They are very lively people, very friendly seeking people. So they respond to the environment very appropriately. Although Down syndrome may be connected with other diseases like heart diseases, where they have some hole in the heart and the blood may not be flowing the way it should flow. and then they have a little bit of retardation in their mental and their IQ status. But we have seen Down syndrome doing well. We have seen even autistic people also done well, even have written books. But autistic children are people who are, because of the peculiarity of their disorder, they are people who do not respond well to the environment. They cling to themselves. They just look like they do not want to respond to things. Even when children are supposed to be playing with tools, these people do not want to play with all those tools. Sometimes if they are playing, they just play in a limited way. Only one pattern of playing with the thing, that is what they do. So they are limited in the expression of themselves. But Down syndrome, they are not limited. They are very friendly people. They can go playing, they can go dancing, they make friends easily, they want to express themselves. So I think that is about the difference between Down syndrome and the autistic child. The autistic child is limited in expression of itself, and then the IQ is also low, although they can be developed if attention is paid to them. And gradually, they can now learn cognitive functions, how to learn some things, to do something, how to react a bit. So because the autistic people, they have different shades. There are some that are actually mild, there are some that are very severe. So it depends on the severity. Those who are mild, gradually they'll be able to learn some things, but it's quite different from Down syndrome, except that they're also saying that the genetic relationship that brings about Down syndrome can also be connected with autism. And that is the probably the connection or similarities that we can find in it. So, but most
Okay,
other
sir.
disorders
Is
we
there
have,
any medication moving forward for them
and the issue is not about medication.
for
Medications actually is not the problem. The problem is that they have a disability in trying to respond to situations around them. So it is teaching them to respond. That is the major things that they need to do. And also telling the society that these people need support, we need to help them to respond to the environment appropriately. That is attention we need to give to them, not really medications. Except there are associated problems like because of the way they respond to environment, they actually have a tendency towards depression. If we find out that they are depressed, then of course we can give medication that will help their depressive mood. Otherwise, for treating the autism itself, no, medicine are not the front line of things to think about.
All right.
Wow, thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
sir.
you.
I would like to ask another question.
Okay.
Doctor, does autism and bipolar disorder, does they share the same causes?
No, bipolar disorder is a mental disorder where the person has mood swings. Sometimes he's happy, sometimes he's low, sometimes he wants to be alone, sometimes he wants to be very expressive. They do not share the same gender. I do not think that they share, from my limited knowledge so far, I do not think that they share the same disorder. But there is nothing making a bipolar person, if he has a mental disorder about bipolar, that does not mean that they cannot have autism. It may be that there are two conditions that are coexisting in a person. A bipolar disorder may actually come from in the interaction, maybe after birth and all of that, situations and circumstances can trip somebody off into bipolar disorder. So the autism person also can be tripped off into such situation. Only that they already have a limitation of expression. So the expression of the other extreme of the bipolar disorder when they are very expressive may be very limited, but they can actually withdraw themselves in depression into themselves in depression because they already have that kind of genetic expression of limited expression.
All right. Thank you
Doctor,
very much.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. In fact, anytime we have you, it's always it's a pleasure. But let's quickly, before we let you go, I know you're in a hurry and you have a lot to do. But let's talk about it, the tuberculosis day. We heard that the first
Hmm.
lady has made a donation. Is that what we really need? That's on one side. And number two, uh, TB is a lifestyle disease, or again, tell us a little bit about the TB. You're raising awareness on that at the moment. I see it more as a
Okay.
lifestyle thing. I don't think it's. I don't know whether it is hereditary. But what? How can we really eliminate TB from our society? I think it's doable.
Hmm. All right. TB is the area where I am very exposed because that is where I worked on for a large part of my medical practice until I retired recently. So TB is a communicable disease. It is not a genetically it's not genetically produced. It is an environmental problem, making sure that there is a bacteria that is causing the TB called Mycobacterium tuberculosis complex, and that that bacteria lives in the lungs of the person who is having the TB disease. And when that person coughs, or he sings, or he talks, or he breathes, he pushes out the bacteria from the lungs inside of the small spittle that comes out with such things. And then any person who is in the environment where that thing is happening, as he's talking and all that, have a predisposition to receive that, to breathe in that bacteria. Once he breathes it in, the patient has an infection in the lungs. And that infection can stay quiet for a while if the immunity of the person is very strong. But
Wow.
if the immunity is not strong, the person will now begin to develop the sickness that is shown as cough, which may be productive, that is produce sputum, or it may not produce sputum. And then in later stages, the person may be actually coughing blood. But the other things that comes with it is that the people will actually have chest pain, they have weakness, they have fever that is prolonged, and sometimes the fever is associated with drenching sweat, especially in the night. And they lose weight, and then they lose appetite, and then other things can follow. The fact about TB is that it is transmittable, but that it is curable. The
Okay.
drugs are available, the drugs are free, the testing for TB is also free. But
In
the people
Nigeria.
who are working, yes, in Nigeria, it's free. It's
Wonderful.
free
Wonderful.
everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere in Nigeria, testing for TB is free, and treatment for TB, it is free. They are all free. There are facilities from the local level to secondary school healthcare level to, secondary healthcare level to tertiary level. Is all free. If it is not free, any person goes for treatment for TB or diagnosis for TB and they charge him, there are numbers you can call, toll free number you can call, and you'll be directed on how you can access treatment. Okay, however, people have not been able to access treatment because information have not gone through to all parts of the country. There are
Yes.
some hard to reach areas that do not even have information, do not have healthcare facilities and all that. So to travel to those areas, we need funding. And the treatment and all these treatment and diagnosis of TB have actually been paid for by foreigners who donate money and bring through Global Fund, through United States aid and
Yes.
all of
Yes.
that. So all those things have been coming. The government has also, okay, the government is providing because they train people to be able to care for these people. They create facilities, hospitals, and all that. And then they also have some limited funding to help it. But it is not equating to the load, the burden of TB in the land. So we want that every person should know, as we are talking, that people like philanthropists, religious people, every person should come, because in the church there are people that are coughing. In the society, in the mosque, people that are coughing. We need to know, every person needs to know, and then be able to push the people to where they can be treated. But we find in Nigeria that the people who are coughing can actually hide in the church, hide in the mosque and say, my God can do this thing. And then they do not know that they are giving it out to people. That is where the
Yes.
problem it becomes an issue in Nigeria.
Doctor, I
But so
was telling.
the donation of the first lady is very laudable. If actually there's something between donation and release, we hope that the money will be released. If the money is released, yes, the program, the government have put in place the national TB control program and the state TB control program and the local government program. If that money can filter into all the nook and cranny, it will be of help for us to be able to pursue the issue of TB.
Doctor, we cannot thank you enough. And so, okay, thank you, First Lady. Well, we want to see that money on time so that we can work.
And
Thank you very much.
that's it.
Doctor, one thing which is on a lighter note, Doctor, not light, but lighter, maybe in
Okay.
between light and light, and in between light and thick. This is a difficult one. Nigerians,
Yes.
Nigerians,
Hmm.
we are either in the mosque or in the church. How do you, as
Hmm.
a medical doctor, handle situation when you know this is a treatable disease, this is a medical
Hmm.
issue, but we go to church
Hmm.
and we are
Hmm.
praying and we are
Hmm.
fasting, or some of them are in the
Hmm.
mosque waiting for
Hmm.
the for they come to me to come and do the juju for them to be cured. How do you
They come to you. Are you a Juju person?
how do you handle that, doctor? Because it's scary.
All right. So me, I happen to be a priest. I'm an Anglican priest and a medical doctor. So you
Oh
see that I'm
wow,
sitting between,
the two.
I'm sitting between the two people. So sometimes I actually have a case and I need to talk to them that. And sometimes they see me, they have seen me as a priest somewhere before, and they say, "Doctor, I know that this thing is God have solution for everything. I know that God can." I tell them that yes, God can do it, but that God did not say you should not take your medications. So if God has provided knowledge and wisdom for medicines to be provided for, and I draw the attention to Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, where God says that medicines are provided for people to use when they have problems. First of all, confess your sin, and then go to your doctor and be treated. That is what that place of the Bible says. It's not one of the canon books, but is used for moral instruction. So you can go and look at it as Ecclesiasticus or Syracuse 38 from verse 1 down. It describes what a person should do when he's sick, the role of a doctor, the role of the chemist. They are there. So I use that to let them know that God is interested for you to take care of your body. If there is something that can be used to take care of your body while you are praying, so we put that to them, and we have relationship with the Christian Association and the Muslim Association. We call them together because of this TB case, and we tell them, and they also support us in our programs. So they will look at their congregation and tell them that this cough, you need to go to this place, and they bring them to us, and we also treat. Just that there are some die-hard people that say that my faith is my faith. My
Yes.
faith will not allow me to do this, and I think that that is foolishness, and we have been able to express that to many people. Some are changing, some are still not changing. I think that gradually, as we continue to create awareness, people will change better.
Listen, we cannot get it better from anybody. It cannot be better, doctor, because you have. I'm happy you're sitting on the two authority as a medical doctor. I'm coming back to you because we're going to have a one-on-one on this because I
All
see.
right,
I love
all
it, doctor.
right. Thank you very
You are
much. I'm expecting that.
thank you so much, doctor. And we're going to let you go,
Uh,
doctor. We're going to let you go so that
okay.
you go and get on with the job. And I know you were very busy yesterday and you still managed to give us time today. God will bless you, and I'm happy you're a man of God as well.
Thank
Thank you,
you
sir.
very much. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.
Yes. All right, people. That is where we're gonna go back, and I know we have a lot to look at, but we are almost out of time. But we can't just close the show. So let us take a look at the next paper before we run away. It's been a day of fun. I have good time because the final piece of it is what I love. He's a medical doctor and he's also a priest too. How do you combine them? It's the relationship between God and medicine. Very good. We'll come to that another day. But let's take a look at the papers today. Where are we, man?
The guidance. Let's go to the guidance. The big
Okay.
story says how forex, duty rate disparity, shipping charges compound inflation, and you can find that story on page 6 of the guidance. There is a picture here, and it says customs import duty exchange. Custom import duty exchange rates 1,303 naira as of March 29. Parallel markets forex rates 1,250 naira. Shipping cost 6,000 $6,000. Other charges: shipping line charges at the port, shipping line import fee, Nigerian port freight additional recovery fee, port and terminal charges, free parking rent period, total parking, total parking rent, terminal handling charge, terminal delivery charge, VAT at 7.5%, stamp duty, terminal documentation, and among others. UK moves against cybercrime in Nigeria as menace claims $5,000 yearly, and you can find that story on page 3 of the Guardian. World Autism Day: expert link condition to household chemicals. You can find that story on page 4 of the Guardian. Ondo Attorney General Ondo Attorney General Ajulu appoints 273 technical advisors, and you can find that story on page 5 of the Guardian. Underneath we have Zenith emerges Nigeria's best bank for the fourth consecutive year. You can find that story on business at page 18 of the Guardian. Workers and appropriate minimum living wage. You can find that story on editorial on page 12 of the Guardian. That will be all on the Guardian.
There are some stories here that you've not read.
And the other one says third mainland bridge repairs cost federal government over 15.6 billion naira in 6 years. Another one says you lack legitimacy to impeach Fubara, PDP tells House. You can find that story on page 4. Security operatives now suspects over fire outbreaks in Borno IDP camps. You can find that story on page 9 of the Guardian. That will be all on the Guardian.
It's loud and clear. And you know, I always like to pick on Wiki because I'm sure you see this last story here. The House has been, they are still, I think they are still bent on impeaching, removing this man from office, Fubara, and that is must be the Wiki fashion. Always try, and in fact, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating that it's hardly, when things get this ugly, it's hardly in the interest of the people. Yes, politics is being played, but what is the interest of the people? That's the question here. You have a governor elect. The man has never been able to drink a cup of tea, water, since he got into that office. It's one problem or the other because his predecessor. You see, in fact, these guys are not brave. If I were be him, I'll be probing Wike. Wike will be in trouble now. You're the one wasting time. I'm sure you have a lot of things you can use against Wike. Probe him. Let him see the trouble. Are you saying there's no secret of him that you can come out with? Bring it out. Let us give him trouble. They say these guys, I won't feel sorry for Fubara anymore because it's like you're playing the same game with them.
Sir, exactly the point we were trying to make the other time, sir.
Yes.
Now, we live in a country where, godfatherism is no longer about the people. It's about the cabals. It's about the godfathers.
Yes.
We all know that since Fubara came into that position, it has been tantrum, it has been war. And this is because he has refused, to obey or listen to Wike. And so Wike has even vowed to make that seat very unbearable for him. And I'm not even blaming Wike. I blame PDP. PDP in Rivers State is dancing to the tune of Wike, the same Wike that betrayed them. Now the Wike is with the president. It's not about, we know that it's not about the political parties, but if Wike is to be a loyal PDP member, we'll not be seeing all this. And I've always said that let's wait till, the second tenure of the president. That's if there will be anything like that. And then we will not know how far Wike will go.
No, once Tinubu gets second ticket, he's going to kick all these guys out.
Is what I'm saying, sir. Because Wike, everybody already knows Wike as a troublemaker. Wike is a troublemaker. Fubara has been so calm with this whole thing. The last time we saw where gunshots, tear gas, and all that threw at him while he was trying to go to the state house. And I was seeing that the PDP in River State has taken it upon themselves to what, to frustrate this man for no reason, just because he has refused to dance to the rhythms of Wike. And so, like you said, if I were to be Fubara at this point, it's just that Wike is with the president. So no matter what the sitting governor will do or pro, it will still be in favor of Wike, because it's a paddy thing, sir. It's what we're
No,
trying to explain.
don't think so. Because by the time Mubarak opened his mouth now, I've been warning them in Edo State. By the time the deputy opened his mouth, eh, Obaseki will have trouble. And I like this. I want you them to fight so that we will get it. In fact, I'm not going to support the deputy if he's not opening his mouth. Open your mouth. If you see anything, talk. We'll go support you. But if you not talk, we're not going to support you. Because we're not going to be with you and you're going to play the game. If you want our support, tell us what you have been going through. What do you know about him? Tell us so that it becomes a good fight for us. Because we want, when two elephant they fight today, now grass is suffer. No, when two elephant they fight, sometimes the grass will come out itself, may they die. We want them to fight so we know the truth. We want Wike and Fubara, their fighting is good. In fact, that we're not fighting in Delta State is wrong. Okowa and the cousin relationship between Okowa and Oboriwari is bad for us. We want them to fight so that the truth will come out. Now we know, oh, Wike is not good. What is it not good about Wike Fubara? Tell us. Wike say Fubara not good. You don't already the oppressor. So what are we waiting for? Open the fight. Deputy Governor of Edo State, tell us what Obaseki don't do where you know. So we go support you as they don't want put you for prison. Otherwise, our president will put you for prison. President not will save anybody here. You see, I don't agree that the president will save Wike from going to trouble. President, you see, what happened in Lagos State? When people in Lagos State voted president and they didn't vote for him, what happened? The man said, okay, he told his governor, you're on your own. Oh, try and talk to the people. That's where you see the colleague going to church, going to share papers, begin to do things. He was in the church, doing everywhere, trying to appease to everybody that they should vote for him. So what we're saying is sometimes we can make these changes. We want these two people to fight. One day it will come. The fight will come and we'll see the truth. We don't want peace. Nigeria don't need peace. All I always say to people, I don't need peace. I need justice. You are oppressing this man. This is a princess. Tell me now, what excuse did they have? Does Obaseki have, other than the guy who want to run for governor that is not going to put him in prison? They are planning to impeach him and they're going to impeach him. If the guy does not cry to us, we don't know what is it. If in our presence, we will be happy if they put him in prison. We're not going to fight for him. Only when he tell us, say, see what did they do me here? Look at what they've done. When we see that one, the fight will become interesting. Yeah, we'll find something interesting. Fubara himself, the same. Fubara, you know, say Wike don't do so many bad things for Rivers. Tell us so that we'll go help you fight. So the battle between you and right now, they go put you, they go impeach you, we go to look. No, we cannot be fighting for people who are not ready to help us.
I think the lawmakers in River State, all of them need to be removed, because state is something is actually wrong with that River State.
No, you said something very perfect. In fact, PDP should be ashamed. Wike is not a PDP, he's in APC now. If Wike tell you he's still in PDP, is a lie. He's an APC man. What right has he got disturbing or imposing people on your own governor? If you have anything in PDP, where is the so-called PDP, I don't know, party chairman? Let's forget about the presidential candidate. They already divided. Don't be surprised next year. This old man will come again. That one, when go carry 4 wives come. What is his name? Baba Atiko. He will come out and tell us he's going to, it is his turn. After us, if Tinubu turn don't go, it will be Atiko turn. So that our destiny will lie between these old men who are not even interested in what happened to our children. PDP could not even stand and say no to Wike. You are no more in this party, stay there. You are now in the APC, stay there. You are now in the FCT, stay there. Don't disturb the state. We don't see people talking. We don't see anybody talking. All we see is
that is the thing. When we don't, I was expecting the likes of, the former governors, the former senators there. We have a lot of them, elder statesmen, political leaders there, to weigh into this, because they can't keep, doing this to Fubara. The man is not being, allowed to even govern the state. He's not giving the space to talk, to breathe or to do anything. So I just think that at this point, everybody needs to come on board to stop Wike. It should be a force that will stop him. If not, Wike is going to destroy that
And
state.
then, but let footballer open his mouth too. He's too quiet. If he's not ready to govern, he should leave then. We didn't vote him to become a so sit there like a coward. He should open his mouth. What is footballer doing? Why is he not talking? Are you saying you have nothing against Wike, then you are a criminal too? We're saying, footballer, open your mouth, talk, say something, say what you know. We will work with you. The battle would have been interesting. Wike for us sit down for that Abuja. By the time we say how much Wike that something was over budgeted, that is enough for us to deal with him. And he's going to sit up. So PDP will have peace. But PDP anyway, I know that I like PDP. So I rest my case. No, because right now, if the next thing we will see again, what PDP will do again, there's nobody good enough in the country. It's Atiko that will come back. You will continue to lose. PDP will continue. If they continue to bring Atiko, they will continue to lose. In Jesus' name. Only if you need, by the grace of God. Because you cannot bring people who have been building the country and they're coming back. What has Atiko got to offer us? That a boy. Right now we're talking about a young man in Senegal. He's there, and I just want to flash him again. Look at the young man. Look at him. Look at him. He bears not be like my own the white. Look at the young man with his 2 wives. These are the change we want to see. Now PDP will wait again in the next few years. Now you see Atiku come back from Dubai. He's starting to run for president. Who be Mumu? They burn the country for now. I will read the rest of the papers, my daughters.
Anyway, there's a story here that says third mainland bridge repairs cost FG over 15.6 billion in 6 years. There's something about third mainland bridge, that I do not understand. Each time I go to Lagos and I'm passing that place, I used to pray, even though I know it's very strong, that God, please let me not fall into this bridge, because it has been from one repair to another since I was growing up till now. I do not understand why federal government spends so much on a particular bridge. So why can't we get it done once and for all? It's the same thing I was telling the infrastructure expert yesterday that came on the show. All we hear is infrastructure, infrastructure. Federal government will come, the minister will come next year, in the next 10 years, we still be, craving for money for the repairs of third million bridge. And I don't know whether this bridge cannot be fixed once and for all. We have the Lokoja bridge, I've forgotten the name, and then we have the Onitsha bridge. These are bridges that were constructed and they have been there strong. So what is the problem with third million bridge? Sometimes they just close it for no reason, that people cannot pass. It causes so much gridlocks across Lagos. And now sometimes also you see that they are there and is one repair or the other. So I just think a final solution is needed when we talk about the third million bridge. And also the main headline here, the rate of clearing, uh for some time now, because of the rate of clearing, I've refused to order anything. I've refused to even order a car. I've refused to buy a car from the US, because it's not about getting the car. We always tell people when they call me, princess, we need a car, we need this. I'm like, okay, I think you should get within. Even my other brother, the priest, told me that he needs a car, and I told him, Father, get yourself a car here, because it's not about getting the car at a very cheap rate in the US or somewhere else. But the shipping and the clearing is the problem we have. That is where we have the issue. And I don't know, Nigeria custom, I don't actually know what they are doing, but I think the rate is too outrageous, and they blame it on, of course, the naira rate and all that. And then the same custom as well, you see that they go behind back door, and they do the back door clearing. That is what it is called. They clear for you behind, and sometimes if you are not lucky enough, you're going with the shipment, custom might just intercept you on the highway, and the next thing, that goods will be seized forever. So I don't know what can be done, but this is even where we have the major problem in the country, shipping and and all that. So I don't know what can be done, Daddy Chris. I'm just
Yes.
confused at this point.
Yeah, I can. I feel. I share your pains, because you imagine bringing the goods into your country. Like the last time I had with the president of the Association of Movie Producers, she was lamenting that sometimes goods that are brought into the country for production purposes, They impose so much tax on it, and you wouldn't even know it's not a straightforward thing. If you say this is the amount of money, let me pay, I come with my receipt, I take my car and I drive out. There should be no story. But Nigeria is the only place where declaring you have to be, in fact, you need a university to become a clearing agent in Nigeria. You need the training there. Oh my God. In fact, in the apprenticeship, and yet you will never know it because the next time the another person is going to come, the customs are annoying. They are annoying. And in fact, the system is so cumbersome and it's so unfair to us. And now look at this. Not that the exchange rate is good, because that's what the people are saying. When you are fired with the stupid exchange rate, the exchange rate only go to people like Dangote, where Dangote is doing his best, but it goes to him. For me, I won't have that same exchange rate. I have to go to the black market to buy. And when I bring the goods in, I have to suffer, to pay and suffer, and now come and see. Because one, if I buy a car for $2,000 and I know the $2,000, I'm not getting the normal rate, so I am already at a disadvantaged position. I manage to ship the goods to Nigeria, then you, the Nigerian custom, then you carry your fat stomach, your fat tummy, and you come and disturb me again after paying the right duty fee. And on the floor, like Peter said, you can't even drive that car because the police are not trained to hijack people and deal with you, man. The Nigerian police, they become customs. On the way, Nigerian police are more annoying than the custom on the way. And so the only body that is actually you cannot blame here will be the military. Unfortunately, the military are now being told to go and save oil, go and look after the oil. That is the one you need to secure, and that is why we see now they see killing people in the corner. May God save us in the country. In fact, we're going to say we've spent 2 hours, almost 2 hours on this show. What a good time to say, let's do some rounding up and let my guests go and have a beautiful day. That's all I can say, because there's so much on the headlines here. Because when you see, if I say let us go into what is happening in Ondo, Ondo is going to have another drama. We don't have any. We are not getting some detailed report there. Ondo have its own drama. It's like the president has endorsed somebody. They now have 2 candidates in Ondo. We need to get into the background of that story. We need to see it. And again, we need to get somebody to actually give us a breakdown, because this is how they will impose somebody on us, and that person will be working for them, not working for the people. The problem is when you give us somebody you want, if Mubarak become wicked boy, the country remain wicked old, the state remain wicked old for some years. I don't know what he's going to do with the money. And you all go to church. No, we need to stop this. We need to stop them. And that's why I'm crying again. All the people I'm going to cry to is see the youth. We're going to cry to you guys. You need to stop this. You are the only people that can stop this. How can some group of old men who can no more run, be running faster than you? Don't give me an excuse. They don't have strength to run like you. Outrun them. In any way, mentally, in everything. If they are thinking this way, think faster than them. You know they're going to win the election. Yes, think faster. Come up with something. These people we're talking of now, they don't know what is AI. They have never said anything called artificial intelligence. No matter how educated Tinubu had gone. The days he was not even aware when computer started, he might be struggling to use his mobile phone. I struggle to use my phone, not Tinubu. Now we're talking of AI. You guys are more familiar with AI. If they want to ring election, use AI to ring it. Come on, fight them where they want to, anywhere they want to, meet them there. Take over the power from them. They're not going to give it to you. You're going to take it. Erofai said it. Nobody give it to you because you're young. You take it. Take the country. It's yours. That's all I will have to say for now. Thank you, very young ladies. I will let Princess normally do the final closing, and I'm very proud of you, young people. It's always a pleasure when I wake up in the morning and I see your beautiful faces. Edo, the young man there, we didn't have time to ask you, because I wanted to ask you the final question before we go. So that question goes to you, young man. You're the only one that's on my side. But let's talk about your governor. Now, I won't put in a governor for prison, deputy for prison. That one, a case when it interests me. I know that, I don't like this guy, but all I know is the only reason, the only offense that man must have committed is trying to challenge his certificate. All right? So I'm saying again, why una wan put am for prison? Why? Wetin you do?
Like the fight is really etiquette. Like you rightly said, when two elephants are fighting, the grass are the ones that would survive. And most times, if you look at the political system in Nigeria as a whole, there's always a back door or a back meeting that goes on outside the public show. There is already a hidden fight or an hidden agenda that is going on that the public are not aware of. So I think that's the major problem here. So if they can come out open to tell us what's really wrong, like you rightly said that if Shaibu can open up and tell us what's happening, then we'll understand and know how to fight back. If it's to fight back and to persecute or to let the Shaibu go back to prison. So that's the whole way I see the thing.
Thank you. And it cannot be better. If Shaibu is not ready, if he's not ready to open his mouth, he said he's a comrade. He has been fighting. Comrade, tell us what you know as a comrade. We want to work with you. But if you are not talking, we are not your friend. If your desperation is just to get power and do the same thing Obaseki has done, we are not with you. But if you were able to make a change, tell us what is not right that you want to correct. Oh boy, open mouth now. As you talk, we go see all of us go do the dance with you. You not talk whether we will do anything. We not go. The same thing goes to Fubara. We want fight. If I hate peace, I keep saying it. What I want is justice. That's why I keep raising this issue of Edo, because Edo, the guy, all I know is that you were trying to become a governor, and the governor, the so-called governor didn't like it, so you're on his bad book. And I'm not party of that. I don't support you, and I don't support him either. But if you tell us something that is wrong with him and why you want to be a governor and you want to make a better case, fine, then we'll work with you. Not you still going to do a private election in your backyard. Because Alandi did his own election in his own backyard. Eh? When they're doing the election in the stadium, they do it home for your office. Where they, in fact, eh? If you not talk, we will go prison. We'll they look you. Thank you, guys. Princess, up to you, man. Your phone is on mute, oh, Princess.
Okay, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been a wonderful morning, and we urge our security agencies to do the needful. EFCC has been going on and on saying it's no business as usual, but we know that we are used to those words. I call them cliche. That is what we hear every day. It's the same thing. There's a story here we didn't get to that bandits adopt 5 day old baby murder in Kaduna. And so I think our security agencies need to do the needful. The fact that this child is just a 5 day old, what is the child supposed to be doing in the bush, in the forest? It's actually very scary when I see headlines like this. It's horrible, it's horrifying. So please, our security agencies do the needful, secure the lives of the people first before anything. Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show today. And as we go about our daily, lives, we urge also everybody to look out for people that are vulnerable in the society. Today we celebrate World Autistic Day. Look out for them, take care of them. I don't understand when people just look down on such people as though they are not humans, as though they are not part of the society. Please, they should be part of the society. You cannot leave the kids solely for their parents alone. It's overwhelming already. Like the doctor actually said, this is something that everybody needs to do their part, even if they are not your children. Care for them, laugh with them, joke with them. Just maybe that would give them a sense of relief and belonging as well. Thank you so much for being on the show. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do this again. And remember the rules. Drive carefully, obey the traffic laws. Give a helping hand today. Everybody's actually feeling the economic run, but when you go out today, try and help. If you just one person, give a helping hand today. That will go a long way as well. And do have yourself a very beautiful day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ooh la la! The second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024 is here.
It's another blend of arts and culture, entertainment, business, and networking activities.
A week-long extravaganza showcasing the best of Nigerian music, dance, craft, fashion, and businesses.
Taking place at the prestigious Lighthouse Theatre, 262-274 Camberwell Road, London, SE5 OAY. Date 22nd to 28 July 2024.
Tickets are available at everbright.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com
or call +4407 459 513 619 or +4420 3623 8755.
Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or visit our website www